my pencils. Okay.
Saying, okay, well, let's.
So we'll just give everybody a minute to get their supplies together, and then we'll begin right away. Okay, I just have an announcement. So next week we are doing acrylic painting, and I think we can do it on canvas. So I know May has provided everybody a canvas, or you can go pick it up, or they are available, and we'll do our project on that next week. So that's next Monday. And just as a refresher, this is what the canvas looks like. This one has a piece of plastic, but it's just a board. It's a fabric stretched on the wood here. So if you don't have one of these, you can contact May, and I'm sure she'll get you set up with one of these. So that's for next week. Okay. We're just going to be beginning. So with your sketch, use a very light pencil. Okay, so that's, if you have H, you can use any of the H's. For me, I will be sketching in 2B because we need to see it on the camera. Okay, so let's landmark where our objects are going to be. Once again, my eraser has disappeared from the face of the earth, as it does every week. So I have to go hunt after this. Okay, so let's landmark. First thing, we need to create that horizon line. It's about halfway. You can place it pretty much anywhere you want. And then we will put down our objects. So we have a canteen, and it's about this big. So you just want to put down the shape of the thing. We're not really defining it yet, right? It's just a shape. Just so you know that there's a thing there. Okay, and you just want to do the same for the rest of the objects. The apple is going to be somewhere over here. So it's close to the canteen. And the easiest way to do this is, I find, in straight lines. You can round them out later. So you know you have an object here. Okay, the tip here actually is to do this very quickly because you will be more accurate. When you place down the shapes, there's a circle over here. And something over here. Okay, and our fabric, actually, we can just put in some type of line over here and then forget about it for now. Again, another line. And another line up here. So this is very rough. Okay, it doesn't actually really matter where you put the apple, right? It's okay if it's a little bit more to that side or more up or down, or it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then I just want to include this strap. And then we can forget about that after we put it down. Okay, so we'll give everybody just a minute or two here to finish this part of the sketch. So it's should be quite quick. And I will be back in about a minute. I need to hunt down an eraser. Okay, so we can continue our sketch. So all we want to do at this point is just to make everything a little more detailed. So we're gonna round out the top. Then we actually have to start to draw the shape of the objects. Okay. And this one is very round. So it's curved line. At this point, you can add highlights and places where the shadows are. So for example, right here. And I see, if you look at the image here, I see this shadow and it looks a bit like an eyeball. So it's places like that that I want to mark down. So I just want to mark this. And don't forget that we have this thing coming down. I don't think I'll actually include this thing today. There's a string or something. Okay. And for the apples, we just went around, make them round. But not a perfect circle, right? The apples are usually a little bit different. The only thing here is to mark down the eye, so the centers, and the stem. So you can just do that with the line. Okay. Okay, for the shading part, you can use charcoal or pencil. Charcoal will be a lot faster. Pencil will take. I'll just sketch in the rest of this. Okay. And you can add some folds in your fabric. So wherever you see shadow, right? Like if I see a highlight here, I'm just gonna mark it. There's one here. There's a shadow here. Okay. So the easiest way to look at this is just straight lines going in the way of the fabric. So this fabric is going this way. So you just have a couple of straight lines and you have the shadows of the things. So we really have to understand the way that our fabric folds, right? And what I mean by this, so let's say I'm drawing some fabric. Let's say this is my apple. and I'm drawing a piece of fabric underneath my apple, right? Maybe there's another apple over here. Okay. When I'm drawing my shadow, I have to understand that my fabric folds different ways. So this one, it might be like that. This one might be like that, right? So that's all fabric really is. So that you might have different shapes in the shadow depending on how your fabric curves. And the great thing about it is for fabric, accuracy doesn't really matter. You can really just make it up, even if you don't know. Okay. So we'll just wait a couple minutes for everyone to refine their sketch. And then we can begin actually shading in the areas. You can use charcoal or pencil. Other pencil will be quite slow. Okay, so let's continue. I will be switching to a very dark pencil. I will be switching to 6B, and I'm gonna be marking in the darkest areas first. Okay, so keeping in mind where your highlights are. Okay, so you got to keep this in mind. And what we're going to do is just start filling in. You're just going to start filling in these areas. I like to go in one direction and we'll go back and cross hatch after. Right, I say that pencil takes much more time because you have to go in and make every mark. You can't blend it out as well. So then we'll do this one. So I'm going a little bit lighter in the middle. And up here. Right, you always want to try to follow the shape of the object. And then all of this stuff up here is very quite dark. Okay, so I just want to fill this part in. I know it's very dark. And underneath right here. you might need a darker pencil. I think this one might be too light actually. So I might switch to, let's see. Well, I have a 10B here. I've never used this before, but use the darkest pencil you have for this part. Okay, and then we'll start to fill in some more of these shadows. Again, it doesn't have to be super neat because it is a sketch. Okay. Okay. And for this apple here, so this back apple is a little bit darker than the one in the foreground here. And what you're doing, all you're doing is very lightly filling in the shape, or sorry, not lightly. You're using your heaviest pencil, the darkest pencil, to start to fill in these shapes. Don't be afraid that it's too dark. It's usually not. Usually the problem is going too light, that you don't have enough contrast. Okay, as I near the center, I'm just going to stop for this part because I don't want to touch the middle with my darker pencil. Except for this part, sorry. Okay. So we just won't touch that part here in the center. And we'll move on to this apple here. And here, we'll just begin cross hatching in a second. I've already kind of started, but yeah, for now, just make the dark areas dark. Just start filling them in. And shadow as well. So the shadow is very dark. One thing about the sketching technique is try to do a line at a time instead of going back and forth like this. Try to do one line, one direction at a time. I know sometimes it looks like I'm going back and forth, but really we're trying to do one line at a time. Okay, so you get something like that. Actually, for this lesson, let's see. I guess we still have time. We'll see how it goes. This one might take a little longer just because I'm using pencil instead of charcoal. And again, fabric doesn't really matter. And if you find that your pencil isn't dark enough, you can do this in charcoal. Right, we want to create lots of contrast. Okay. Okay. So again, I'll just be darkening these areas, but this time I'm cross hatching. So just a reminder on what that means. So for an object, first I went in one direction like this. Say this is the apple, right? And then for the cross hatching, I'm going to be going in opposite direction. So I'll begin. Okay, and I'm just gonna do the top as well. So I'm leaving this part white on purpose for now. I'll go in when I do my lighter pencil and work on that part. Okay. And then I'll be pretty light over here in the middle. Okay, so start to fill in those shapes. Just like that. And I've just left that eye, this part in the middle, pretty empty. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna darken everything up here. Keeping in mind that there's highlights kind of near the top. And you can go in with your normal eraser. So any eraser with a hard edge works really well for this. And let's say you made this part too dark. You can go in and just erase the line so that it creates that white highlight. Okay, and a lot of people have been asking how to use that gray eraser. So you have a kneadable eraser. It's a gray eraser, and I have a couple, but they're always gone. I'm not sure where they are in my house ever because they blend into the environment or something. So that eraser is used. Let's pretend this is the gray eraser. So that's used when I make an area too dark. You just take the gray eraser and you tap at it like this. And that will remove some of the darkness. Okay, it's not good for erasing hard lines. It's only good for very gentle erasing. So let's say you want to make this area lighter. You would use the gray eraser, the kneadable one, and just tap it like that. And the reason why I find myself not actually using that eraser is because I find that my thing with drawing is I never make things dark enough, right? So that eraser is to make things lighter. But the gray eraser does not work very well if you're trying to get rid of line. Like if you're trying to make a highlight right here, a very bold highlight, a normal eraser is the way to go. But if you're trying to make a gentle highlight, that eraser would work very well. Okay, so now I just need to cross hatch all my apples. Okay. Okay. And this one over here. So you really just got to put your elbow grease into this. And remember, this is not the finished product. So we still have our light pencil that we need to use. So once you get most of your dark color in there, and you're okay, you're pretty happy with the way the dark color is in there, you can switch to a finer pencil. For example, a 2B or a 3B. So I have my 2B here. And what I'm going to do is start adding in my finer details. Oh, sorry, before I do that, I'm just going to quickly put in the rest of my background here. You don't need to have a background at all. You don't have to have this. So I'm just quickly going to put in a backdrop with the 6B. Because the 2B is a little bit too light for that. So you can leave this part out. You don't need to have the backdrop. Okay, and then the front area here. It's like coloring. Okay, there, background in. I'll just forget about this part for now. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to make some horizontal lines up here with my thicker pencil, but quite gently. Okay. And then maybe I missed some areas where there is shadow. And then I'm going to go in with the 2B and create those crisp lines. So very light. Or in comparison to what we've done, these lines are light. Okay, so just go in. So this is a sketch and it's all about layering. Okay, I'm just adding in my vertical lines. And then I'm just gonna sketch in this up here. Add in my details. Okay. So I'm looking at certain areas and I'm thinking I really want more dark color or light color or something. So I'm going to go ahead and make areas like this one darker. Press really hard. One thing about the sketching or this type of sketching is it's supposed to be quite quick. You're supposed to be able to capture a still life or an image fast. So I think it looks better a little bit rough if you don't actually spend a lot of time working on every single line. Yeah, when I was younger, I attended one of these traditional sketch classes, and some students would work on the same piece, something like this, for a very long time, like over the course of weeks. But in my opinion, I think the sketch is better done quickly. Okay, and then I just want to go in and create some highlights. See what my eraser will do for me today. So for sketching, the best is to work from a real object, but if we can't do that, then a picture is better. Drawing somebody else's drawing like this is just really good for practice. Okay, and then our last step is to create these fabric folds. And you can really do this at any time. Yeah, so the fabric folds really are just a couple of lines here and there. Okay. Okay. So there we go. So knowing these techniques, you can sketch just about anything. So say you're at a dinner table, you're at a friend's house for dinner or something. You want to sketch their setup, and now you know it's just do the shape, fill in the darkest areas, add in the details. You can make a very quick sketch. Okay. Okay, I think we'll stop that one there for today.